Good morning. My name is Bob Trent. I'm with the Center for Arizona Policy. Thank you for coming, and thank you all for coming this morning to uh, support families, the Arizona family. This morning, Center for Arizona Policy, in cooperation with the Institute of Family Studies at the University of Virginia, have released the Renewing Arizona Families report. Peter Gentala, president of CAP, will be up here in just a moment to talk about the report itself and what that means, the work that will begin as of today, and then some others. We have President of the Senate, Warren Petersen, Representative Lisa Fink, to represent legislators because policy will be an important part of making Arizona the best state in the country to form and raise a family. We also cannot do that without the church. As a support to family, there is no other organization or organizations that support family, help them form, and walk through them in all stages of family life, the church. To represent that, we have Pastor Ben Lee and Pastor Andrew Cunningham. And with that, I'd like to introduce Peter Gentala, President of Center for Arizona Policy.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Especially want to thank everyone in the background. I'll join you in a moment back there. My name is Peter Gentala. I'm the president of Center for Arizona Policy. And it's my pleasure to introduce an initiative where we turn our hearts back towards home in Arizona. Arizona's always been a frontier state. It's from the pioneer spirit that built this at the territory stage before statehood, to the families that built our cities, our schools, our churches, our businesses. Arizonans have always been a people who believed that there was something better on the horizon, and they were willing to work hard to build it. Today we're standing on a new frontier. It's not a geographic frontier, it's deeper than that. It's not a demographic frontier, it transcends that. It's the frontier of the family. Every morning in Arizona, over 1 million school-aged children will begin their studies, and the single biggest determiner of their success is really one thing. It's not the zip code they live in, it's not the school they attend, it's whether there is a married mother and father in their home. The report we're releasing this morning, Renewing Arizona Families, is produced in partnership with the Institute for Family Studies. It makes one thing unmistakably clear. The single most powerful predictor of whether an Arizona child escapes poverty, graduates from school, owns a home, and inherits the Arizona dream is whether that child grows up in a stable family with a married mother and father. Marriage in Arizona is more powerful than money. It's more powerful than per pupil spending. It's more powerful than the zip code the child is born into. Right now, Arizona ranks in the bottom third of the country when it comes to family structure. We're 35th in the nation out of 50. But that number is not a final verdict. It's an invitation. The good news is, and this is news that should encourage every Arizonan, we're already climbing as a state. We're up 4 places since 2020, and the share of Arizona teens living with married parents has risen from 58% over this time period until currently 62%, where we sit now. So the trend line is bending the right direction, and we did all that before even trying. Imagine what Arizona will do when we're intentional, when we work together, when we prepare and encourage people to get married, to form families, and to support and sustain marriages so that children have the best opportunity to thrive. That's what Renewing Arizona Families is all about. It's the most significant initiative in the history of Center for Arizona Policy. It's a multi-year, statewide, research-driven, hope-fueled commitment to rebuild the foundation for every Arizona child. Center for Arizona Policy is one institution among many. We can't do this alone, and we have no intention of trying. That's why standing with all of us this morning, we have faith leaders, including pastors who shepherd thousands of Arizona families, standing with us. We have lawmakers who understand that strong families are not a partisan issue, they're an Arizona issue. And in the months ahead, we'll be joined by educators, school board trustees, by employers and city leaders, by pastors, churches, by neighbors, parents, and grandparents in every corner of the state. Renewing Arizona Families is not a CAP initiative, it's an Arizona movement. To the pastors here today, I want to say thank you for carrying this hope to your churches. Thank you for what you're already doing. To the lawmakers who are here today, I want to say thank you for championing the reforms that will be necessary to support rather than discourage family formation. And to every Arizonan who's watching or paying attention, whether it's today or in the future, I want to say thank you for what you do to make this state stronger for the next generation. We're already doing well, and this is a place to start the climb even higher. The Arizona dream is alive, and together we're going to climb faster for every child in Arizona. And now we're going to hear from the President of the Senate, President Warren Petersen, for a few more remarks. President Petersen.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I want to thank Center for Arizona Policy. I want to thank my fellow legislators who are up here, and I want to thank the faith community for getting involved in this initiative. What if we could have a case study right here in Arizona of how families affect your situation? Well, it just so happens the city I live in is Gilbert, Arizona, and it has been named the most married city in America. I imagine it remains one of the most married cities in America. So we can look at Gilbert, Arizona as a good example of what happens when you have family formation. And what we see in Gilbert is that it's one of the most educated cities in Arizona. It is one of the most highest wealth cities. It's also, it has continually been a city that is either number one or number two in the whole nation as safest. It turns out that families aren't, there's not as much crime when you have more families. And so we're seeing all of these benefits that come from a family formation, not just from research that's been gathered, but we have proof of it in the very city that I represent. So I just want to say thank you again to Center for Arizona Policy, for the faith community, and to my colleagues who are going to work on policy to try to create this environment and try to support and help. What we certainly do not want to do is discourage family formation. We need to make sure we are out of the way of that. We want to make sure that we are, as mentioned, intentional, so that people can do what is part of the American dream, finding that special somebody, forming their family, and raising their kids. So with that, I'm not sure who was up next, but I'll turn it back over to Peter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it. Thank you for your leadership, President Petersen. Now we're going to hear from Representative Lisa Fink.
Thank you, Center for Arizona Policy, for this opportunity, and thankful for this opportunity to be able to talk about something that I hold very dear to my heart. As many of you know, I am a mother of 6 children. I was able to be at home with my children. I was a stay-at-home mom for 25 years. I also come from a family of 8, and I am the oldest, and gratefully so. But the fact is that if you look at my father and my mother were at home, and they were together, and they've been together till my mother passed away. But if you look at my side of the family, everyone plus spouses have either a bachelor's, a master's, or a doctorate. There is a definite correlation between strong families and education. But also I want to go back even further. The founders knew that the family unit was the most essential unit to the success of a country. If you look at history and civilizations, the strength of the family is what was determined how rich, how powerful they were. And when you saw the decline of the family, that is when that nation went into decline. In fact, Alexis de Tocqueville, during Democracy in America, he wrote, because he wanted to come see what is making America so great. If you recall, he just went through a bloody French Revolution. But when he came here, he saw two things that really struck out to him. First of all, the strength of the churches and the strength of the families. And by the way, that has made all the difference in our nation. Now, also the fact is that I have sought in many of my bills to promote parental rights, to ensure that the family unit is strong, because I know that if it is strong, the family unit is strong, then we will be successful. And Arizona cannot be successful without strong families. And I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Representative Fink. And here we are with the hallways of government surrounding us, and I just want to recognize the lawmakers who took their time to be here with us. In addition to Representative Fink and President Petersen, we have Representative Michael Way. I'm going to introduce each, and then we can applaud them. Senator Frank Carroll, what else am I going to say? Representative Gress, is that it? From the crew? Okay. Elected lawmakers, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. As you've heard multiple speakers allude to, this is not a government problem. It transcends government issues. It's not just a policy issue. It's not just a policy challenge. It's a cultural challenge. It's a community challenge. And now we're going to hear from a very important segment of the community, the faith community. We have with us Pastor Ben Lee, who is here from Living Waters Church. And would you join me in giving him a warm welcome? Pastor Ben Lee.
Thank you. Well, good morning. My name is Ben Lee. Along with my wife, Christina, we serve as the founding and senior pastors of Living Water Bible Church in Santan Valley. I'm not a politician. I'm not a researcher. I'm a pastor. And I want to share with you this morning what is more than 15 years of standing across the kitchen table from Arizona families has taught me. I live in Pinell County, one of the greatest and fastest growing communities of the United States. Every single week in Santan Valley, families I've never met before move into houses that did not exist a year ago. They come from here from California, from the Midwest, and from across this state. And this is what I've seen up close for a better part of 2 decades. These families don't just need a house, they need a home. And the difference between a house and a home is not the square footage. It is not the granite countertops. It is not even the school district. It is the marriage at the center of it. A house built on a slab, a home is built on a covenant. When I read this report, what I saw was data finally catching up to what every pastor in Arizona has been watching for a generation. Children raised by a married mother and father do way better. In school, in their hearts, in their futures. That is not an opinion. That is what the numbers say. And it confirms what the Bible has been telling us for 2,000 years ago. Living Water started in 2009 with 5 people. This year, we're opening a new auditorium that will welcome thousands every weekend in Santan Valley, because the demand for the community, for marriage support, for a place that takes families seriously is greater in this town that has ever been. So our church is going to do the work. Premarital counseling, marriage retreats, men's retreats, and women's ministry, kids ministry, we are in. But it cannot be done by one church alone. It cannot be the only church. We need legislators that are standing behind me. We need educators who teach our kids. We need the employers who hire young men and young women. We need 500 more pastors across this state who will pick up the work. Because with renewing Arizona families is not a project, it is a calling. When my wife and I planted the church in 2009, we believed the Lord spoke to us to take this part of Arizona and call it Miracle Valley. 17 years later, I still believe miracles can happen, and they still do. And the biggest miracle I've ever watched is not a growing church. It is not a new auditorium. It is a husband and wife standing in front of their kids saying, "We will not give up on family." May God help us build a lot more of these miracles all across Arizona. For that, I thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pastor Lee. And now we'll hear from Pastor Andrew Cunningham from Southgate Church. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Cunningham, and I've been the senior pastor of Southgate Church here in Phoenix, where I've served for almost 40 years. I'm not here today as a researcher. I'm here as a pastor, someone who has walked with families for many years through their weddings, their funerals, their births of their children, and the late night phone calls when things have gone terribly wrong. The church has always been one of the places families come to be strengthened, to learn to love, to repair what is broken, to grieve, to celebrate. That quiet work is happening all over Arizona today, in living rooms, in counseling offices, in small groups, and those things you never see on the news. It hasn't stopped, and it's not going to stop. When I read the Renewing Arizona Families report, I did not read it as news, I read it as confirmation. Confirmation that strong, stable families are not a luxury, nor are they accidental. They are the soil in which children grow and learn. I have seen what the report measures. I have watched a marriage that was broken and without hope come back together because two people fought for it. And I have watched the cost when one did not. I have watched a single mom carry the weight of raising children alone with a love that shines as an example for all of us to see. I have watched a father who had been gone for years find his way back home to become the dad his children needed. The data tells the story at scale. The pastors see the story up close. Both stories are true. What I am grateful for is that this report tells the truth without pointing fingers. It honors single parents. It does not diminish anyone's family. It simply asks Arizonans to do what every loving community does. Tell our young people what works and what doesn't work, and stand with the people who are trying to do it right. So this morning, I'm asking three questions or three things. First, to my fellow pastors across Arizona, read the report. Teach what it confirms. Second, to churches across Arizona, open the doors of your church to the community. Invite them in to be a part of your marriage and family resources, to your classes, to any event that will help every Arizonan build and strengthen a marriage or a family. Member or not, the church is ready to walk with you. And third, to every Arizona listening, invest in the family right in front of you. I love this state. I love our families. I believe Arizona's best days are ahead of us, and the church is ready to help get us there. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Cunningham. Well, that's the end of our prepared remarks. If there's any questions, we'll take them at this time. Good. Okay. I want to thank you again, all of you, for being here. This is just the beginning. The report is being released now as we speak. We're excited to share it with leaders across the state, and together we're looking forward to putting the priority on family and continuing the climb in Arizona. Thank you again for being here.